get the game in motion. And then Carlton Palmer, no more than Leeds United deserve. They have been the powerhouse Premier team here at Selhurst Park, wondering whether they would ever score, and Palmer took on the responsibility himself, worked it onto his right foot, smashed it goalwards. Heel got a touch, but the power was too strong for him. The only surprise, it's taken Leeds the best part of 30. The reward that their play deserves. And it's Tony Yeboah to tap it into the empty net, with Carlton Palmer playing a prominent part again. And Wimbledon in this first half coming off very much second best. Others have had earlier opportunities. Really, the first meaningful chance for Yeboah, it couldn't have been easier, and it's Wimbledon. And Dean Holdsworth together, Holdsworth claiming it, Earl claiming it, but what matters for Wimbledon is that the deficit is halved. In went Earl, and both players wheeled away in celebration. Looked from that angle as though Holdsworth had the greater justification. Earl was fighting him for the right. Breathtakingly brilliant. No wonder the Leeds players collectively show their appreciation of this. Doesn't need any words. Just wonderment, really. The two-goal cushion is restored. It could not have been restored more emphatically. 3 goals for Leeds, 2 of them to Yeboah. He's got 9 in all competitions this season. They pulled it back to 3-2. To Alan Reeves diving in then and getting the better of Lukic, and also getting the better of Brian Dean to reach the ball as it flicked his way from the head of Palmer, I think it was. In the 59th minute, it's Wimbledon. Well, there was some lovely football in the build-up. It was a bit fortunate the way the ball came back to Yeboah. Nothing fortunate about the scoring shot. That was totally expected. He is in front of goal. Absolutely awesome. And Wimbledon have felt the force again. A hat-trick for Tony Yeboah, his second of the season. And it's Wimbledon 2.
Hopefully we've learnt our lesson, was Alex Ferguson's assessment of United's 3-0 home defeat by York in the League Cup in midweek. United were clearly anxious to regain some credibility at Hillsborough, and they managed that with a gritty display, although it was Wednesday who carved out the better openings. This was a deflected free kick from Mark Pembridge that deceived Peter Schmeichel. The Danish international didn't keep goal for United in midweek, but they were certainly relieved he started this one. He produced some outstanding saves. This time it was to the frustration of the Romanian Dan Petrescu. The Belgian international Marc de Grijzer was a constant threat for Wednesday, but Schmeichel kept him out too. And Pembridge couldn't take advantage of the follower. A point for United to put them top of the table for 24 hours at least, and with the eagerly awaited return of Eric Cantona only a week away, their season seems really poised to take off. For most of the 90 minutes at Villa Park, it was the home side who dominated. They created most of the chances and went ahead halfway through the second half. A splendid goal from Villa's captain Andy Townsend. This to profit from Dwight York's smart back heel. But the celebrations had barely died away when Townsend was suddenly on his way off. The clash with Forest Norwegian international Lars Bohinen led to a second yellow card and his subsequent dismissal by referee Paul Danson. Townsend clearly felt the decision was too harsh. Villa's anguish at the loss of Townsend was doubled when Forest stole an equaliser just 3 minutes from time. Fullback Des Little, 24 on Sunday, with a brave header after Aston Villa had failed to clear Colin Cooper's free kick. 1-1 at Villa Park. Forest have now stretched their unbeaten run to 19 league games. Stan Collymore may be the Premier's most expensive striker, but this was the day he was totally overshadowed by his young teammate Robbie Fowler. That was Fowler's first of the game after 10 minutes. This from an astute through pass from Jamie Redknapp. It was 2 for Liverpool and 2 for Fowler as Bolton's beleaguered defence folded again on the half hour. Defenders hoping in vain for an offside flag as Fowler revealed again his finishing skill from David James' long clearance. With the second half barely underway, Fowler claimed his hat-trick. Redknapp's cross created havoc and Fowler pounced to give his team an unassailable lead. Still, he hadn't finished, though. After twice more extending Keith Brannigan in Bolton's goal, he beat him again on 67 minutes. Another measured shot beyond the goalkeeper's despairing dive. Bolton had rarely threatened, but broke away for what seemed just a consolation goal with 13 minutes left. Owen Coyle following up after David James had saved from Dutchman Richard Snakers, supplying the chance for Andrew Todd, son of Bolton's assistant manager Colin. 4 minutes later, it was 4-2. This after Bolton were awarded a penalty when Steve Harkness brought down David Lee. Mark Patterson scored with his spot kick. Too late, though, to offer any serious challenge to Liverpool, and they completed an emphatic win with a 5th goal soon after. Harkness making amends with a strong shot to give a final score of Liverpool 5, Bolton 2. Dennis Bergkamp kept Arsenal waiting 14 minutes short of 11 hours for his first goal for the club. And when it did finally arrive early on against Southampton, well, it was well worth waiting for. A puff of the cheeks to illustrate his relief that the barren spell is finally over. It was a perfectly executed shot, this from Glenn Helder's cross. Arsenal's advantage was extended on 22 minutes by skipper Tony Adams. His goal after Steve Bold had helped on Paul Merson's corner followed the 2 he scored against Hartlepool in Tuesday's League Cup tie. But a minute later, Southampton were back in the game. A goal from Gordon Watson from Matt Le Tizier's free kick. Arsenal then paid the price for some profligate finishing when seconds before half-time, Kenneth Monkow headed in the equaliser from Le Tizier's corner this time. But having gone 7 matches without a goal, Bergkamp clearly wasn't prepared to leave it too long before his next one. And on 68 minutes, he delivered a truly stunning shot that flew in off a post to make it 3-2. The first goal was naturally very welcome, but the second will surely go down as one of the best that Bergkamp has scored in his illustrious career. Five minutes later, Ian Wright made sure of Arsenal's win with their 4th goal. Southampton's defence unable to cope with him as he made space for the shot that Dave Besant could only get a hand to. Arsenal winners by 4 goals to 2. They're still unbeaten. This, though, was Dennis Bergkamp's day.
When I'm in my
100th in a Blackburn jersey. Shearer isn't really one to let records worry him, but it took him only 8 minutes to satisfy the statisticians. A simple goal, well for him anyway, after Ian Pearce had flicked on Tim Sherwood's corner. Shearer clearly determined to help inspire a revival by the ailing champions. Midway through the first half, Blackburn were 2 up. Not a moment for Coventry's promising young goalkeeper John Fyland to relish, though. He was at fault in letting Colin Hendry's header slip beneath his grasp. Almost immediately, a great chance then for Coventry when they were given a penalty for Tim Flower's surge at Peter Unlove. Unlove looked a certain scorer, and a less lenient referee than Keith Cooper might have sent the goalkeeper off. City will certainly feel justice hadn't been seen to be done when Unlove struck the post with his penalty kick. On 34 minutes, though, there was success for the man from Zimbabwe as he connected with Paul Cook's fierce cross. But Coventry's comeback hopes were shattered by that man Shearer again. First on the hour, his second of the game. Another easy finish after Mike Newell had just managed to stay onside. 7 minutes later, Shearer completed his hat-trick. Newell playing his part again to make it 4-1. Newell nearly scored himself 15 minutes from time, but had to settle for another assist as his header bounced invitingly off a post into the path of Ian Pearce. Blackburn convincingly back in business, with Shearer, of course, left with plenty to celebrate after this latest landmark.
Yeah, it was nice to, as I said, the scoring goals is the greatest feeling in the world, and I've scored 3 times today, and perhaps could have been more, but give the team some credit. We've had a little bit of stick over the season, and don't give me the headlines, give the team it because we deserve it.
For once, the controversial West Ham defender Julian Dix was making the right kind of headlines. With just 7 minutes gone, he was back in the spotlight as Craig Short was penalised for his foul on Ian Dowie. Up stepped Dix to score from the spot, celebrating with a clenched fist salute to the fans who've never lost faith in him. It was a battling display by a West Ham side seeking their first league win of the season. But with 5 minutes of the first half remaining, Everton equalised. Vinny Samways with his first for the club since his Charity Shield winner over Blackburn. West Ham, though, were in front again 3 minutes later, thanks to another penalty. Earl Barrett, the offender this time, after his hack at Stan Lazaridis. Dix again dispatched his kick beyond Neville Southall, but only just. Everton, having lost Paul Rideout through injury in the first half, were mainly toothless in attack, but nearly saved a point. Only a superb double stop from Ludek McCloskey denied first Daniel Amokachi and then substitute Graham Stewart. Relief at Upton Park with their victory, certainly for manager Harry Redknapp.
Today we battled well. I felt we kept stuck at it. We were under pressure second half for long spells, but that's the way you win games. You've got to keep battling out results in this division. There's no easy games, and Everton are never an easy side to beat. I think they've lost 1 in the last 6 months, and it was last Sunday, so I knew it would be a tough game today, but that was a great result for us.
Manchester City's lack of confidence was obvious from the start at Main Road, although it was slightly against the run of play that Middlesbrough took the lead on 16 minutes. A well-taken goal by Nick Barmby, although City felt he was offside. It could have been worse for Alan Ball's struggling team. Robbie Mustoe curled a shot against the crossbar, and Craig Hignett headed over with the goal at his mercy. City had their moments, though, and were clearly out of luck when, with 8 minutes left, substitute Nicky Summerby beat Gary Walsh, only for his shot to cannon down off the bar. It was City's last riposte. The team were heading for a 6th defeat in 7 Premier League outings. Uwe Rosler's frustration at another decision that went against his team earned him one of the game's 8 bookings. The linesman was none too amused, and nor, obviously, was the referee.
Very well on that right-hand side to get any kind of crossing, and Ferdinand needed no second invitation. 8 goals in 8 games for him. Sinclair was rather put off by Fox's jump in front of him here. No contact at all until Ferdinand made a very definitive one. It's in, and when it's out for Chelsea like that, it really is out. Well, that was a very untypical goal anywhere, and a very untypical Newcastle goal. Route 1, his lock to Karim, and in off Ferdinand. And everything he touches at the moment turns to gold dust. Well, that really was plain lucky.